2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. It is indeed another rendition of Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes. Coming to you live. All is truly and indeed a blessing. If you can just see beyond the bells. Greetings this December 13th. I will be forward momentarily. Greetings, JP Tarot. Come on in. Come on in. Nina Lloyd. Come on in, beloved. Come on in. All is truly and indeed a blessing. If you can just see beyond the veils. Thank you, Diane Cameron Elam, for the beautiful theme music that we have been utilizing for over 12 years. We certainly are grateful for your gift, your voice, your talent.
Come back home to Africa.
She's calling your name through the wind. Come back home to Africa. Greetings, greetings, come on in, Essence, Cachet, greetings, beloved, greetings and salutations. My beloved cousin, Lakeithia, come on in, girlfriend, come on in, all is a blessing. Welcome, come on in, I got a lot to say today, have a lot to share. Come on in. Blog Talk Radio, area code 845-277-9143, 845-277-9143. Do be patient, but press the number 1 on your telephone keypad. I will open your mic momentarily for your question, comments, or request. Greetings all over the world. Greetings. I appreciate you. I am grateful for you. I am indeed here for you. Coming back to you. Greetings, Craig Burns. Greetings, Paul, Fulton, Gideon, Marshall. Greetings, beloved. All is a blessing. Come on in. Yes. Come on in this Monday, December 13th. Come on in. This is a live airing broadcast. I will be forward momentarily. All is a blessing. Area code 845-277-9143 for those who do not have a webcam or who are only listening by phone. Area code 845-277-9143. You can also follow the StreamYard link scrolling at the bottom of the screen, also posted in the chat, in the live chat, and you can join me here as co-host. I'm also opening the Blog Talk Radio chat. You can, again, call me at area code 845-277-9143 and press that number 1 on your telephone keypad. You can also copy and paste that StreamYard link and join us here as co-hosts live on screen with your webcam and your mic. Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome. I'm humbled by you. I'm appreciative for you. I am grateful. Welcome, Chef Bougie. Greetings to you and your family, beloved. Come on in. We certainly appreciate you. Greetings and salutations. Come on in. All is a blessing. Eshu Alekbuana Ko Siwere Awo Onlo Uto Ni Iwo Ada Afanbo Osi Obatala Mi Itani Ebo Onilio Abane Shu. Eshu is the respected elder who flogs, confronts, and uncovers fools. That one versed in mysteries uses truth to own you. He causes scatter to feed poverty. Obatala shakes rascals to have sacrifice. The owner of warnings is the one who is Eshu. Aboru, Aboye, Aboshishe, Ashe. May our Ebo reach a rune. May our Ebo be accepted. May our Ebo allow what we desire to come to pass. And so we say, Ashe. Divine, all blessed greetings and salutations, one and all. You are now sitting live with the Divine Prince, Pan-African Spiritualist, Practitioner, author, and advisor, Elogun, Oloye, Hoodoo, Obeya, Bokur, sharing with you in all things spiritual, mystical, metaphysical, cosmic, evolutionary, revolutionary, universal, healing, and holistic from a Pan-African Hoodoo world spiritualist perspective. Understanding that all is truly and indeed a blessing. If you can just see beyond the veils, for it is all just an illusion and a test and one of the greatest divine mysteries of this life cycle. This is indeed my constant prayer, my mantra, my affirmation, reverberation, my reiteration, and it is my ever living reality. It is crucial to the very foundation of my inner standing, my teaching, my walk, my works along this divine, all blessed life path and journey. It is how I, the Divine Prince, make sense out of all that we are challenged with here in our daily existence on Mother, Father, Earth. And it is my personal place of power and inner standing, the place from where I begin, the place from where I realize and crystallize all my endeavors, understanding that I and I alone create and co-create my divine destiny, and I alone create and co-create my divine all blessed reality. And so it is. Ashe. Asheo, Ashe. Indeed, I am broadcasting live. I will be visible momentarily. Today is indeed Monday, December 13th, 2021, and I am emanating and vibrating with you and for you now live, virtually, verbally, cosmically, quantum, universally from this working temple of the House of the Divine Prince. Thai Potions, Hoodoo Central, in this historic, beautiful, enchanted, legendary, some would say most haunted city in America, New Orleans, Louisiana, the land of my ancestors and those who came before me along this hoodoo Obeah life path and journey, passing down the great Obeah stick along with the knowledge of the life-giving herbs, roots, plants, rituals, spirits, and indeed minerals, the ceremonies, the rituals, the prayers, the rhythms, the lifestyle, and indeed, our beloved Denise Augustine would say, our sacred stories, our sacred stories. I please invite you to stop and like, follow, subscribe. I'm indeed grateful for you on all platforms that you might be utilizing and or visiting in this moment. I most certainly would appreciate you visiting my youtube.com/voodoo Thai, VOODOOTYE. Of course, blogtalkradio.com/the-divine-prince. And you can, of course, click on copy and paste the StreamYard link that changes with each new broadcast in order to pop that into your URL and join us here now and become a part of this live streaming broadcast. I always have to pause and stop and breathe at this point in my opening, understanding that the creation of sacred space is critical, indeed critical to all that we do, who we are, what we would be in this present moment in time space. And indeed, if it were not for the great and mighty shoulders of those ancestors for which we now stand upon, have our very being, both physically DNA encoded, but also encoded in spirit, the mighty presence of ancestors. Indeed, we are all created by the great creators, but it is our ancestors that are our front line of defense, that first line of defense in all of our human efforts and endeavors. Understanding that spiritual knowledge and power lies in its efficacy, in its ability to produce and manifest powerful, reliable, tangible, lasting results here and now in this most present moment in time space. It's all good to say it, it's all good to reverberate it, it's all good to memorize it, it's all good to copy and paste it and share it and reshare it. But indeed, true spiritual knowledge and power lies in its efficacy, in its ability to produce and manifest results here and now in this most present moment in time space. It's one of the things that drew me deeper into voodoo at a very young age. The idea that I didn't necessarily have to wait for the great by and by or till after I had passed away to receive some great reward, and then and that in fact indeed the creator and the mighty creators have gifted us power to create and recreate our reality right here and right now in this most present moment in time space, and to create and recreate the reality that mirrors our best interests, that mirrors our best interests. Some say, well, what is that? What does that mean? I'm going through hell. I'm going through this challenge and that challenge. Indeed, many of us have reincarnated and recreated many lifetimes over to repeat lessons, to relearn lessons, to get clear indeed about lessons. Oh, it would be a blessing to pass through here and not have to come back here again, not have to experience human incarnation yet again. But the reality is, many of us are still learning, are still growing, are still humbling ourselves to this great universal body that we all are a part of, that we sometimes call God or the creator universe. I also want to acknowledge, there might be a bit more noise today in the background than usual. Anything you can imagine is going on. They're fixing one house on one side, they're painting another house on the other side. All of their equipment and their vans are right in front of my door, so my dogs might be barking a little bit more than usual today. For those of you who understand the barking dogs, but I'm indeed grateful after having survived the filming of my podcast. I'm indeed grateful to be here with you again on a more regular and consistent basis. And I'm truly honored and grateful for my team, my crew, my producers, and their family and crew, but most certainly for the historians and anthropologists and storytellers and clients, and initiates that showed out, and are helping to make this what will be one of the most revolutionary things that has probably ever aired on TV in this genre, this format, this market. I'm not in competition with, the 10 o'clock news. I'm not in competition with, some of our most popularized reality TV shows, of which I'm a fan of many of them. But as always, true to who I am and true to the House of DivinePrince, we're staying in our lane. I play the hand that I'm dealt. We just now have an opportunity to highlight the hand that I have been dealt, and to bring that forward to a national and to an international audience. So I'm indeed grateful to the Horn brothers and everyone who I just cannot list right now name for name for name, but everyone who participated, who filmed with us, who worked crew with us, who helped to maintain us while we, got this project in the can. And so now it's time to indeed get back to business. I know some of you are now headed for vacation and entertainment and holiday season, and this indeed is a busy time for us. This is an extremely busy time for us. This is a time when people, well, let's start with some numbers. According to, I believe it's the medical statisticians, the ones who do the medical counts, suicide rates go up during this season. Holidays increase people's sense of anxiety, people's sense of depression, people's sense of isolation, people's sense of what they don't have or cannot afford, to give or to participate in or even to provide for themselves. Many people are going through the struggle, still in confronting the pandemic and all the changes that has created in our lives and in our society and indeed in our economy. And there is good news at this, most curious time of the year. They're suggesting that the unemployment rate is indeed dropping, having a profound effect on our economy. I'm just curious about the timing right now before the holidays, when people are looking for every reason to be motivated to spend, to buy, and indeed to sell. So I am here for you and yours. Greetings, Gene Williams. Thank you for joining us. And to my Blog Talk Radio listeners, thank you always for being so present and consistent. For my YouTube participating audience and viewing audience, I'm certainly grateful. Thank you all for, again, being here at a time now when many people have many distractions on their mind, getting closer to Christmas and New Year's and indeed the new year. I have my own distractions, that being that this production be a widely successful production and reach the maximum audience, um, not merely for entertainment, but for those of us among us who often sought for mentorship, looked for leadership, looked for companionship, looked for someone to sort of mirror and emulate and learn from in our journey. We indeed live in a new day in 2022 with new technology and a new opportunity to expand our reach and our awareness, and indeed our creativity. There are many among this particular listening audience who are indeed creative, uh, beyond even their own awareness and imagination, who are using their tools, their devices, their technology to further develop not only their creativity, but the reach and the shelf life of that creativity. This medium now provides that these uh, blog posts, that these podcasts, that these broadcasts will out survive many of us in terms of our lifetimes. Most certainly, network television will out survive many of us and our lifespans. Uh, in archive and indeed in repeat showings to generations that aren't even born yet or aware yet. So we live in a very unique opportunity right now to live in our truths, to redefine our truths, to recreate our truths, and to then be an example to those who follow how to move forward beyond the illusion of the block, the illusion of the issue, and indeed the complication. How much longer do we struggle through? How much longer do we pray, you know, for a change? Do we pray for a miracle? How much longer do we ignore the opportunity to be God and to be goddess in the way that is encoded, divinely, innate, and inherently encoded within our DNA. I don't believe this is a new age concept. This is not a new concept. This is not an aboriginal concept. I think this is a cosmic, universal truth and reality that humanity, much of humanity, is still slowly catching up to. The idea that indeed we are the children of, the descendants of, the creator itself. And our great prophets and leaders have shared this, have expressed this with us in their own languages, in their own words, from the bowels of their own universe. The idea that greater works that I do, ye shall also do as well. Uh, the power that exists in me exists indeed in you as well. So we live in a very unique opportunity today of knowledge, of awareness. We've had 25 years of the information superhighway, and now digital technology and greater forms of storing information into the cloud and greater memory banks, you know, with T letters behind them in our computers and in our devices now. Many things that didn't exist when I was in junior high, when I was in high school. So the idea of looking for, seeking encouragement, seeking motivation, seeking partnership and uh, peer connectedness has changed, has evolved over the decade since I graduated out of high school. And we have a unique opportunity, all of us that are alive right now, no matter what your age or age group, have a unique opportunity right now to leave a footprint that will survive many generations. So be true to your footprint. Be indeed true to who you are and why you're here and what that message is. Never give up is an idea, not just for content or for another podcast, but it's something that I've had to live and test and relive um, almost since birth. The attempts on my life and my reality and my coming forward began long before I was born. Um, my father, who lived a really negative life, for much of his reality, was caught up in a robbery at some point in his teens. Shot a cop. The cop shot him. 5 times. He almost died. But I have the scarring of one of the bullet wounds in my chest. I have a little dip in my chest. Um, and I've never been shot at, been around shooting, none of the above. And so I know for some of you, particularly when you get in your dark place, it's really hard for you to understand that we are predetermined, predestined. We don't just show up randomly because two adults decide, they're going to have sex and a child is sort of produced from that. The illusion of an issue, a block, a complication might present that, but indeed there isn't a soul, a spirit that survives and makes it into this world that is without purpose, that is without a call, that is not without some change, some modification, that just your very footprint, your very breath, your very thought, your very creative energy is meant to impart upon our collective reality. The idea of isolation is an illusion. The idea of separation is an illusion. the idea that one religion dominates another religion, is superior to another culture, is dominating over all world cultures, is all an illusion. And it's one in which we collectively agree to participate in or not to participate in. At some point, we have collectively agreed to accept certain ills and certain vices in our lives and in our worlds because of the illusion of the idea that we are helpless or without hope or without a solution or unable to create a solution. And the greatest of those lies is the one that suggests that one person is not enough to make a change. That indeed is one of the biggest lies and illusions that I personally have had to overcome and continue to overcome throughout the course of my half a century or more of life here in this plastic reality that we all coexist in. The idea that one person can make a change, that one person can change the paradigm, can change the dynamic of a thing. Even in disease and illness, one person can introduce a disease, an illness, a sickness into a community that then becomes everyone's problem. And so too, one person can create a solution, can be the blessing. Greetings, Neophyte Bokor. Come on in, Love 77. Welcome, beloved. Greetings, Arisha. Thank you and yours for being present with us. We certainly do appreciate you. So don't ever accept that you are not enough, that one is not enough to make a change or make a difference. First, in your own reality, and then in that of the world, this collective reality, this collective universe in which we all reside in which we all share in. I've said in previous broadcasts, my plastic cup affects your reality. My cigarette butt affects your reality. My oil and gas pollution affects your reality. And I don't care where in the globe you exist. We all share the same air. We all share the same water. We all share the same soil. The illusion of distance gives us a sense of safety, gives us a sense of a false sense of protection from the repercussions of our own actions, the karmic repercussions of our own actions, whether they be naturally or spiritually or energetically. We can project energy into the world upon people, upon perfect strangers, without any real awareness, any real knowledge of the after effect that is felt, that is received, and that is carried. Because see, some of y'all shade and wickedness just bounces off some people, but you don't know that. You assume that all people feel pain, all humans hurt, all humans have a sense of ego, and there's a relative truth to that. But then there's specialty people who have modified emotions based on their experience, people who have modified emotions based on their mental health. I have welcomed the conversation about Asperger's syndrome and other forms of mental health that are little discussed in our communities, and what wiring effects that has on what I'm able to feel and perceive. Some things don't penetrate with me the way they penetrate with you.
4 1 6 3 1 2.
Now, why this is ringing,
Power off.
I don't know, but let's turn that off. And so that works both ways. There are people who, you have no idea how hurt, how damaged they are by your comment, your statement, your demonstration in the workplace or in the social setting or wherever the incident may have occurred. And then there are those who are indeed motivated by, encouraged by. I should be, according to this society, a statistic at many levels, more than just one statistic. Being a black, gay, male runaway in America in the early 80s, the AIDS epidemic, the crack epidemic, just, the things that I have outlived and survived and surpassed that should be a statistical number that is often pre-marked on many of our heads before we come into the world. Prisons are an investment, a long term investment. They are anticipating a certain number of bodies to fill those seats before the concrete is poured into the ground. So there are certain predetermined factors that exist in our universe that indeed determine our godlike capabilities, our abilities to arise and rise up to the occasion as it has presented itself. Our planet has arose and arisen and survived many otherwise cata- cataclysmic, disastrous events, just so that we can have the balance of nature that exists in the world, so that we can indeed survive and continue to survive to be godlike in consciousness. There are those who are seeking to be godlike in body, unsure of what that is, really, unsure of what that looks like, even. But indeed, in being godlike in spirit, we then can master all things. We then can be who and what we need and desire to be at any given moment in time and space. I'm indeed grateful for my family, Arisha and her husband, Chef Bougie, and my godchildren who continue to show up and do the work, who continue to hold me up. When I question, um, should I be doing this? Should I move on to something else? Should I just, you know, put down ministry and just do performance, And there's always someone who reminds me of the value of us really reclaiming that which has always been us, reclaiming ATR and raising it up to its rightful place. Not necessarily equal to the dominating world religions, maybe even better than. We would pray that things will continue to improve if we look at religion in the world from the world's infancy and to where and who and what we are today. We would seek to improve. We would seek to evolve. We would seek to get better. We would seek to assail to the highest heights. And when you stop seeking, when you become disconnected from the ability to seek, there's a problem in the programming, beloveds. There's a problem in the wiring. And that's why depression, unhandled, unchecked mental health is a real problem, because it's very easy for our godlike mind to accept the illusion of an issue of block or complication to be reality. And indeed, we can convince ourselves of any reality that we indeed choose. How many of y'all have ever seen a happy crackhead? Now, almost everybody in this room has seen a happy crackhead, but I don't know what's happy about being a crackhead. But in the state of their reality, all is happy and all is good in the midst of their reality. And so there are indeed those who are happy. We've demonized happiness over the generations. Oh, nobody can be that happy all the time. Oh, nobody come to work smiling every day. Yeah, they do. They do. And some of us, as they say in some of those closed rooms that end in the letter A, um, some of us have to fake it until we can make it. Some of us smile and all is a blessing until we can authentically step into the smile and the all is a blessing. We indeed, as gods and master magicians, have the opportunity and the choice to choose our reality. Now, oh, I'm a realist. I keep it real. Okay, keeping it real doesn't necessarily mean keeping it negative. Keeping it real doesn't necessarily mean accepting, embracing the negative as the only response to outward stimuli, to outward weather. Sometimes it's weather. Sometimes it's stimuli and trigger. We all experience rain, we all experience storms, but we don't all experience the 100-year tornado. And my heart goes out, to Kentucky and several states and cities and towns and families and townships and communities that have dealt with the threat of what we deal with, all the time in this region. The Carolina coast, the Gulf Coast, the East Coast. We deal with storms all the time, but there's that 100-year storm that comes through, that supersedes even our best planning. Even, because we would like to think that our housing is planned for such an event. Our buildings are planned for such an event. Certainly, we would think a candle factory would have been planned for such a major weather event. And then we survive, and we get up and survive. And someone out there is listening to me now and say, oh, but I lost someone. But they got up and they survived, just no longer in this dimensional reality, just no longer in this physical time space. But indeed, your loved one got up and survived, got up and moved on into the next reality. Another great lie of getting up is that all things have sort of this linear ending and beginning to it. A lesson that I was taught directly from the spirits, elementary school. Um, but there's a thin line between your imagination and your creative mind and the spirit mind. And so once you have been programmed, trained, taught to shut off your imagination, once you allow hurt and disappointment to cause you to shut down your imagination, you're also shutting down your ability to see and perceive a new day, to create and recreate a new reality. One of the blessings of the rain is what sun looks like and it's coming. At some point it's going to stop and the sun will come out again. Once you lose your ability to feel that, to think that, to sense that, to know that, to own that, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. And that's what makes depression so deadly, because your mind, that crystal, can recreate any reality that you perceive, any reality. I remember in my youth, as ignorant as I was, I used to will to die till I learned and was better educated that you can will to die legitimately, biologically, seriously. And so people grieve themselves to death. People bereave themselves to death, lose a loved one, and shortly thereafter. Look at people who've been together 30 years, 40 years. One senior passes, the wife passed, the husband lived 6 months. The husband passed, the wife lived 6 months. It's not always the case, but it happens with great frequency. And so we can indeed will ourselves to live just as easily as we can will ourselves to die. And the worst part about willing yourselves to die is that it's not spontaneous. It can be a, you know, decade after decade of just you settling into accepting a reality that no longer mirrors your interest. I watched a movie the other day and somebody used the phrase, "Oh, she was dead long before, you know, her body was put in the ground." We say that sometimes about addicts. We say that sometimes about people, you know, who've committed heinous crimes with 200 years, you know, to spend in prison. You know, we say that about people, places, and things that we no longer want to think about or identify with or feel connectedness to. So, learning to survive, uh, learning to dream, learning to live for another day, learning to create and recreate, excuse me, the reality of a new day. First in this crystal, uh, with the help of these crystals, you know, is really critical to almost any creative endeavor that we can pursue. Often the composer sees the music, feels the music, vibrates in the music before it is actively created. The book author has to see their characters and form their characters and sort of walk through a story with them, you know. And indeed, initiation is in many ways a similar process of writing a story and creating a story from a predetermined set of materials, and then having an elder or godparent to walk you through that process, to talk you through that process, to paint a picture, an image that you can see and envision, that you believe so much that you then begin to pick up that brush and finish that portrait for yourself. That is the green dream. That is ultimately um, the goal. But learning to do that for yourself, to be self-motivating, to be self-empowering, when no one agrees, when no one is patting you on the back, when no one is saying, "Yeah, go ahead and do that, move that forward." No greater skill than that. No greater skill than that. Because indeed, you will find yourself as you gain successes in the illusion of isolation. There will be those who will not even want to visibly show you that support. This all the support might be there, but they don't want you to know it. And so you begin to believe the illusion that there is no support, that no one is saying what I do, no one is supporting what I do, no one is backing, you know, and then you say that over and over and over and over and over again, and then it becomes a reality that, you know, a self-fulfilling prophecy that you created, that you set out with your own mouth, with your own energy. Yeah, so, you know, I don't care the age, beloved. I don't, you know, you look like you might be a little bit younger than me, so your mom might be in my group. I don't care the age. My mother's 78 years old, still doing new things, still meeting new challenges, you know. Thank you, Tomcat. Yeah, I'm aware it's a lot of craziness going on uh, in and around the Greenway. We'll cover that local news in just a moment. But knowing how to, and I appreciate you, by the way, Tomcat. Thank you so much. Um, just never give up is, you know, it's not just a philosophy. It's not just some spoken word thing, some positive thinking thing, though all those tools go into it. But it's an active thing that many of you are doing every day. You're just doing it for the wrong reasons. Some of you are never giving up to go and punch that clock so you can pay those bills as much as you hate that job, but you can't even envision yourself doing that for yourself in your own business, in your own career, along your own journey. Greetings, beloved. I got your mic is open and you are now on screen. Rollins, come on in. Can you hear me? Because I can hear you. Okay, that's weird. Okay, Neophyte Bokur, I don't know what that was about. Okay, he's making some adjustments. He will return shortly. So yes, Tomcat, thank you. Greetings, Hafas Harris. Greetings, beloved. Lot going on in New Orleans at the local level. We've finally gotten past the election season, this election season. I'm grateful for that. That does not mean that we're beyond the politics, but we're certainly beyond the elections and folks running for election. And I'm grateful for everybody who participated, who voted, who helped to determine some new city council seats and helped to end some other city council seats. Most certainly, we told you, we warned you, stand with us now. We won't stand with you on election day. And so that showed up. I'm certainly grateful to SOS and my community who supported us in our battle with any notion of moving City Hall into Congo Square, and to sort of uh, show my gratitude for that. I've made, my community, my city, my culture, our traditions, central character to my up and coming TV show. So I'm grateful for everyone who stood with us and around us and held us up and uh, and pushed us forward. Uh, Tomcat, I believe, is referencing the Lafitte Greenway here locally in town, a huge swath of land. Greetings, the Goddess Initiative, that was reclaimed by eminent domain, I believe, by the city after Hurricane Katrina. Used to be a huge project complex there. More than one, as a matter of fact. Iberville, Lafitte, and so now it's a huge greenway, open space, outdoor gym equipment, not just your typical, elementary school romper room, equipment, but weights and pulley systems, that use air and hydraulics, as opposed to free weights and other equipment that you would find at the gym. But this is outdoors, weather resistant, open to anyone who might otherwise need and want access. Um, but there's been just a spike of crime and robberies and jackings in that general location. We had sporadic incidents of crime along the Greenway um, prior to the pandemic. But I believe, Tomcat, that the pandemic has also increased crimes of opportunity um, all over the country, not just in that neighborhood, not just in New Orleans, not just in the South, but all over the country. Um, as some people reach a point of desperation with the changes that have come along with the pandemic. Uh, those who were prepared, those who planned ahead, those of you with great jobs, great careers, great degrees, great opportunities, you survived. You had a law and you picked up and carried on. But there are many others, particularly in the service industry, who became displaced, who are continuing to be displaced. Some of which who either cannot go back to, their jobs, some who don't want to go back to those jobs just out of the level of danger and fear now, associated with doing that type of job, in a pandemic. And then when you consider who wants to follow the rules, who doesn't want to follow the rules, who's unclear what the rules are, All of those factors go into everyone's behavior right now as it relates to the pandemic itself, how we handle the pandemic, but then how do we get on with the business of life again? I said in the last episode, many of you are looking for things to sort of return back to normal. Well, first of all, what's normal and what is there for us to return back to? There is no returning back to. This is the new reality. And that new reality continues to change every day, every moment of every day. But this is a new reality. There aren't any going back to. It's like the newborn babe that's born 12/13/2021 at 12:49. There's no going back to that. That new babe knows nothing of 12:45, knows nothing of 12/12/21 or 20 or 18 or 15 for that matter. So there is no going back to. We are indeed in a new time, a new day, a new dispensation, a new way of approaching life and approaching that reality. The positive for me as a spiritualist is there's certain spiritual laws of the universe that don't change, that won't change, no matter what happens in our plastic reality, no matter what happens within the dynamics of our technology. In fact, we're only getting better adapt to some ancient ways of healing and addressing consciousness and spirit as we continue to move forward in 2022 and into the future. Just don't, in all of your shopping and entertaining and feel good moments, don't, you know, people buy what they want and they beg for what they need. I say that all the time. People buy what they want and they beg for what they need. Some of y'all are already broke. Some of y'all are going deeper into the brokenness, moving into the holidays for want of gold, silver, diamonds, fashions, cars, food, drink, you know, often things that will lose value the minute you walk outside the showroom with it. But don't neglect your spirit. Don't neglect your initiations. Don't neglect your ancestral work in divination. Don't neglect the very thing that feeds and fuels our ability to be prosperous and fruitful and multiply in this reality. And again, we have a unique and rare opportunity with the technology that's now available to us to expand our reach across waters, across great lands, across great states and great cities and great expansions of geographic distance to maintain a reality that now mirrors a reality that we seek to walk and talk and live and exist in. I'm always grateful for everyone's love and support and participation. Thank you so much for showing up in the live chat, both here um, as well as in the Blog Talk Radio platform. I'm certainly grateful for you. I'm also thankful for the Blog Talk Radio phone lines, which are always busy. I just invite that you not only dial 845-277-9143, but that you also press the number one on your telephone keypad. And I will most certainly be glad to bring you into the conversation. 2022 is going to be busy, y'all. It's going to be a busy one for me. Um, and as I begin to do bigger and more um, lasting projects, my need and desire for people's assistance in that regard will only um, continue to increase. So I am indeed grateful for those of you who are doing the work, who are legitimately initiating, who are legitimately getting your ancestral work and divination done. And I'm grateful for those that I had the opportunity to meet and share with in the last 2 weeks during the filming of the reality show. I'm not going to call out any names if they're not in the chat. Let's see. Yeah, none of those people are in the chat, so I won't say who they were. But just know, just know, just know that I'm grateful for you and yours. Well, it's been a very blessed hour. I have quite the schedule. Neophyte Bokura, I'm sure, had a lot he wanted to say. He's having some problems with his technology, y'all. So his headphones may have just given out on him. So we look forward to hearing what Neophyte Bokur has to say next time when we meet here at high noon U.S. Central Standard Time on many platforms, but particularly here on youtube.com/voodoo tie, blogtalkradio.com/the hyphen divine hyphen prince, and StreamYard. Until next time, I'm grateful for each and every one of you. All is a blessing.